Hi honey pies, these are my summer solstice contemplations. I'm probably going to call this video Litha Contemplations. Although I don't commonly refer to the summer solstice or midsummer as Litha, I kind of am very interchangeable with the names that I use, and it kind of depends how I feel at the time. And I know that most witches do identify summer solstice as being called Litha, so I'm going to kind of go with that, and it is something that's found its way into my vocabulary a lot more recently. So, and the same with the names for the spring and the autumn equinoxes, Mabon and Ostara. I don't normally use those words. I haven't really used those words in the past, but I do prefer to use them now, particularly since Ostara is such a pretty word anyway. So it's kind of nice to have it in my vocabulary. But I do change up the names of the festivals and how I relate to them quite a lot. So sometimes I call it midsummer to give myself that like Shakespearean feel to the experience, but quite often I'll just call it the summer solstice. Um, I feel like the summer solstice is really just a representation of obviously the sun at the height of its power, and also us at the height of our personal power and at the height of our ability to be expansive and expressive. So I think it's really about being in the seat of your power and appreciating what you've been able to reap and the abundance you've been able to receive as the kind of materialization of your hard work. I guess that's really where I'm going with that. So I think that summer solstice is an incredibly positive festival, and the festivals that take place during the warmer months of the year on the northern hemisphere are not normally festivals that I've been traditionally drawn to on my path, but Beltane for me this year was incredibly potent, and the summer solstice this year feels really significant to me. So I'm really going to enjoy my celebrations of the summer solstice. I'm sorry that these contemplations are coming to you so late, by the way, but I've had a few things to get ready because I'm doing something very special for this summer solstice, so that's going to be lovely. So yeah, I really feel it's about the height of our expansiveness and our ability to express ourselves. I feel it's about art, and I feel it's about really coming out and kind of externalizing what's internal and celebrating and feeling that childlike joy and spontaneity. There's a big thing with summer solstice about staying up all night. And for me, staying up all night is a very exciting thing to do, waiting for the sun to rise and spending the hours in the dark talking with friends or whatever. I feel that there's this very mischievous feeling of not going to bed. And when I was a kid, I was born in a large Irish Catholic family who liked to party quite a lot, and I was born in the winter time. I was born 2 weeks before Christmas, so I was really born and taken straight into a very kind of loud, boisterous Irish Catholic household, where I think probably the first sounds I heard as a baby would have been the sounds of adults having fun and enjoying themselves and staying up all night. And that was a big part of my childhood too. I was one of those children that really didn't want to go to bed when there were parties on. I was worried that I would miss something important. And as I got older and I started to take charge of my own life, I really enjoyed those weekends where I could stay up all night, where I could go to a rave or hang out with my friends until sun up and then go for a walk. I really love staying up all night at festivals. I hugely enjoy that. I've already booked Boomtown for this year, Boomtown Festival, and I stayed up every night last time, and I will again this time, because I feel there's such an exciting feeling of independence and freedom attached to it. But there's also this exciting feeling that reminds me of childhood, where the adults would start kind of letting me stay up later and later, and I would be exposed to more of the kind of reckless and joyous adult world, I suppose. So there is that to it as well. And there are lots of connotations with staying up all night, I suppose, with kids like making tents and stuff like that. So I feel that it kind of feeds a dual desire within me to return to childhood feelings and to enjoy the celebration of innocence and joy, and dancing and just letting go and being free. But at the same time, it's quite an adult thing to do. It's kind of quite rebellious and cool to stay up all night. I feel it gives you this amazing feeling when the sun comes up that you've really done something memorable, especially if you've done it with good friends. So that aspect of summer solstice I really love, and I do always try and stay up all night no matter what I'm doing. But this year I'm going to have to stay up all night because I'm going down to Stonehenge for summer solstice, and the whole point is to arrive and stay up all night with each other by the stones, and then enjoy the sun rising in the morning and kind of party. So that's going to be really cool, because I've done the henge for winter solstice a couple of times, but I've never actually made it down there for summer. There's always been some kind of problem, some kind of reason why I couldn't do it. So this year I'm going to really enjoy finally having my summer solstice moment at Stonehenge. I'm pretty sure that I don't need to tell anybody watching this what Stonehenge is, but it's like a prehistoric arrangement of stones, and they believe it was built between 2000 and 3000 BC, and they're not really sure what it was built for, but there are a few different theories. One theory is that it was originally a burial ground of some kind, which has given rise to the theory that it was a place for healing. And there are some people that posit the idea that it was used for ritual, it was used to celebrate the sun, the solar cycle and stuff. It's obviously become quite a big place of pilgrimage these days for Druids. And there are some sections of the pagan community that would argue that Druids have kind of monopolised Stonehenge, and they've very much made the day their own. The Druids will kind of have a ceremony that everybody's welcome to take part in. And I think some areas of the pagan community are not entirely sure that it's right for Druids to be able to monopolise the relationship with Stonehenge, because even though Neo-Druidry posits it as rather a cathedral, if you like, for them, there's not really any evidence that it was used by Druids or built by Druids, or, I mean, nobody really knows. Nobody really knows what it's for, but there's obviously a great energy there, and it's obviously something that a lot of pagans are drawn to. So I'm very excited to go there, because in the winter solstice at Stonehenge, it's very reverent, it's very quiet, it's obviously also very cold. So there are a lot less people there, and although it's got a really deep and profound atmosphere to it, the summer solstice experience at Stonehenge is rather more like a great big rave up. So I'm quite interested to see how that goes down, and I'm hoping to be able to make a short video for you at Stonehenge so you can see the madness unfold while I'm there. So that'll be really cool. Um, I vary how I kind of celebrate summer solstice in my own way. I vary the ritual practices that I use, but like a great many witches, I am quite drawn to fire. I'm drawn to fire anyway, but I'm very drawn to use fire in summer solstice rituals, and I'm attracted to things like fire magic and the idea of acknowledging that we are now moving into what I like to call the descent into the mysteries, or the return to the dark half of the year. So there's almost this feeling as well with summer solstice that I'm so overjoyed and I'm so free in myself, and I feel like so much has been let go and so much has been built up, that I'm at a time in my life where I really can just shake any crap off of me. I can really get the flies off of me, and I can start thinking about what it's so much easier to release now for me psychologically or in my life. I feel like a great atmosphere of joy come upon me, and it's almost like it's easier to let go of a lot of that stuff that I might have been holding on to unnecessarily. I don't know if anyone else feels that way about summer solstice, but for me it just gives me this this feeling of personal freedom, and this feeling that certain things that need to be buried or released, I can do that, and I can really be at the height of my own potency, both creatively and in terms of human interconnectedness. And that to me is a really important thing that I feel about summer solstice, and I felt it more the last few years than I did in the past. I think there's something very special about that time. So I do feel that fire magic and using fire as a representation, burning words and that kind of thing, not only is dancing around a bonfire and enjoying firework displays such a representation and such a symbol of that joy that we feel and that excitement that we feel of it being the height of summer, but I also feel like things like burning ceremonies really give you that chance to be in your joy and to take ownership of your joy, and to understand that things that no longer serve are now completely done away with. And I think that gives you a very fresh slate for the darker months that are to come, where we might be becoming more interested in things like shadow work, trance work, astral projection, dream work, that kind of thing. Not that this isn't something that we consider during the summer months, but of course we do associate them with outward abundance and with building, with manifestation and with enjoyment and with spontaneity, whereas the darker months do seem to be more for that very potent self-reflection. So I feel like summer solstice is kind of a way of leading me into that, because the energies are changing, and that's really what we're celebrating. We're celebrating the end of something. We're celebrating a turning point, essentially. So I think it's one of those great ways of celebrating the life, death, life cycle, in a sense, and I'm really pleased that I'm finally going to be at Stonehenge to do it. So I'm very excited about that. These contemplations have been quite short. I don't know if there's anything else to say, really. I feel like my response to summer solstice changes up quite a lot over time, but I really feel that I'm in a good place for it this year, and I feel like I'm in a place where I can truly embrace it and embrace what it means to me personally. And I've really enjoyed seeing everybody's Litha altars. It's been a really great privilege to have that little portal into your world and see what you're all doing to represent solstice and bring it in and be one with it, and to celebrate in your own ways the changing energies and what the change of that energy really does mean for you on a personal level, because it really is, as above, so below, as within, so without. The wheel of the year is really a reflection of the wheel of our lives. So I think it's really nice to see how you all connect with it and the different things that you do to mark it. And I would like to thank you all very much for that. Blessed be, and I will see you on the other side of my Stonehenge experience.